So, welcome to another piece of the puzzle
Welcome.
in energy healing. So, Tom,
Yeah.
listening to your body, you were very, very clear and adamant about the body, the physical body, how it's positioned with you, your soul, and the earth. So, I think that would be a good place to start.
What is the body?
And its purpose.
Yeah. Okay. So I tend to explain to people that we don't actually own anything. You know, your telephone, like my telephone, was once dust in the mine, often collected by kids in Africa or wherever. We can't. I can't actually change that fact physically, but if you're conscious of it, you start realizing your telephone that you're looking at, or whatever thing you're looking at the moment, was at one point a piece of earth. It's the same for your car, it's the same for your house, and it's the same for your body. And at some point you're going to have to give your body back to, the material back to the owner, which is the earth. And that's why in France they call it propriétaire, which means prop means clean, which means taken, and then terre, which means earth. So propriétaire is French for owner or proprietor. And if you understand that, why has this body been lent to you? It has been lent to you because it's there to help you. And actually your body is the best guide you could ever wish for. It will tell you everything, and it will tell you without no nonsense. No rubbish. You will experience emotions because of your body, and your body will help you to experience emotions. But here it will give you the whole synergy of physical, the moral, the spiritual, the energy, everything all in thing, and it will give you an answer that's very straight. The thing is, we don't tend to listen to our bodies. Most people just listen to their brains.
So does energy speak through our body? Does our soul speak through our body? What is the interface, so to speak?
Yeah, it all speaks. The interface is your body.
Right.
Everything speaks through that. Your soul, or your spiritual path, or your spiritual energy, your raison d'etre. But it also speaks to you on a physical sense of moral, of physical as well. Should I do this job? Should I not do this job? That sort of thing.
So when you say, are you listening to your body? How does the body talk to you? So in sort of basic terms, what's the most prime ways that the body will talk to you?
Well, first things first. I've got to tell everybody that the majority of the time when people are sitting in front of me and I'm looking at their auras, you can see their auras around this section here. I'll just choose this camera here. Around this section here you see a lot of electricity, a lot of colours and stuff like that. But around the rest of it, you don't see anything because they're using their minds way too much and they need a lot of electricity. So they put a lot of electricity there, and that means the rest of your body is missing a lot of electricity. And that's when you're listening to your heart, that's not a good thing. And we tend to sort of make things very, very mental, really, more than anything else. And we shouldn't be. We should be listening to our bodies to start with. And then your mind will then give you the logical option. That's when I talk about saying that there's no choices in life. There's only an evident path to follow, like I keep saying with the sevens and stuff like that. And like...
can I just ask a question?
Please do.
So when you're talking about electricity in the head, and whether you understand or come across the chakra system before, we haven't talked about that yet per se.
No.
But obviously, energy will sit in various places. It can sit in various places within the energetic system.
A focal point in each section. Yeah.
So when you're talking about it being in the head, it's more in the sort of in the crown chakra area rather than the heart chakra or in the solar plexus, for example. So when you're talking about energy. Where in the body that you're feeling and electricity is. Can you just explain how those two things sort of sit together?
Okay, so it's very simple. If one thing is people sort of say, I come across a lot of people where they don't know how to say no. They're very nice people and they're lovely people, but they don't want to say no because they don't want to hurt the feelings of someone, which is lovely.
It's a very common thing.
Really nice. But at the end of the day, you know, when you get on an aeroplane, everybody knows that you've got to put your mask on first before you help someone else. And that's no different to life, you know. And everything in the universe works on the principle that as long as I'm okay, everybody else can be okay. You take away my responsibility for a child, let's say like in Zimbabwe. I'd love to take responsibility for that child in Zimbabwe, but I can't. It's impossible to do. If you know, if Zimbabwe's having some problems, you know, it'd be difficult to help that child in Zimbabwe directly for me. It'd be better if the people in Zimbabwe sorted out for that child, you know, that sort of thing. So it's sometimes, you know, you can't really, I say to people, you can't save the world as an individual. You can't save the world. I can't save the world, but we can.
So if you're saying no, just back to that.
Okay, so yeah, coming back to the no, it doesn't matter why you should say yes or no. That's not the important thing. In theory, when you're asking energy or when you're exploring the idea of energy, you should never ask why. You should never ask why to your body, because the answer's too big and you'll never understand it. You'll be lost in multitudes of illusions about kind of going, well, it could be this, could be that, you know. But what you should know is, should I say, and we talked about should I say yes or should I say no? And when, you know, I give an example here. I was sitting in my garden, drinking a cup of tea, enjoying the sunshine, and a young lady came around the corner with a flat tyre. She asked me to change the rear tyre. I stood up from my chair and I listened to my body, and my body said to me, Tom, if I was you, I would say no. And, you know, I mean, how can you refuse a young lady sort of help her to change her tyre? It's a bit sort of like,
not
it
very nice.
flies in the face of logic in a way. And I kind of went, right, I'm going to trust my body. And I said no to the young lady. I sat down. Obviously, she wasn't the most pleased and happy with me. And 2 minutes later, a young man came around the corner and she asked him and he said yes. And so she looked at me as to say, you're just a, you know. And I said, yeah, fine, you know. You know, a couple of years later, those two people got married. If I was to turn around and say yes, they may not have never got married. The reasons why, I do not need to know. And sometimes it's way above it's got nothing to do with my life and my comprehension.
So how did you know to say no?
This is why it's difficult talking to me sometimes. Okay, so...
where did you feel it?
Okay, so basically I have principles. So you've got to explore and you've got to experiment. You may not get it straight away. So you pick a situation where you know you must say no. There's no rhyme or reason.
Should I go and run over somebody, for example?
Yeah, exactly. There's something really, really sort of simple. Yeah, you will get a sensation in your body. Yeah, so I would get a sensation where my abdomens, and they're really quite big these days. My abdomens.
Not saying anything.
No, my abdomens would tighten, and my back seemed to go straight. And it's almost as if I'm taking a position of authority. Do you know what I mean? And
So that was a no.
That was the no. And then for the yes, should I have a piece of cake? Obviously, it's going to be a yes. There's no doubt about that. And even now, I'm getting, like goosebumps, chill, really nice frisson, like, sort of like goosebumps going through me. That's French frisson. It thrills. It thrills me. I feel this sort of like goosebumps all over this section here, over my arms and over this section here. And it's really my heart sort of saying, yes. Although physically, I shouldn't, my heart is probably saying, no, I don't want any more cake, Tom. No more cake, we'll have problems. But that's the way then I know I should say yes or no. And once I know that, I've got to work out how I help this person. And that's when the mind comes into it. So the mind should, in theory, if you want to listen to your body, you need a bit of time. And sometimes, this is why we say, take a breath. Sometimes when you're confronted with something, you just go, okay, how does my body feel? Okay, I'm getting that, I'm getting that. Okay, right, yes, I should be doing that. Okay.
So, if you got a pain in your lower back, for example, what would the body be saying?
Thank you. So yeah, lower back. So if I'm getting like a dull ache in the lower part of my back, this is way before you get things like hernias and collapsed discs and stuff like that. You know, because the more you can listen to your body before it actually creates, because if you don't listen to it, it's going to create a major problem for you. Illnesses. It's going to create hernias. It's going to create lots of things because you're not listening. It's going to end up screaming at you, you know. And so it's when in the lower back, it's sort of saying, I'm doing my back, and I'm kind of going, I now know because it doesn't have to tell me anymore. It just needs to kind of go like that. And then I kind of know what it's saying. And it's sort of saying to me, you're trying to do too many things in one go. You know, and so if I don't listen to it, yeah, it's gonna really start screaming. It's like I had a patient who's constantly coming back with the lower backs, and I kept saying to them, you know, what did you do last week? And they sort of saying, well, I did this, I did that, I did this, and I said, do you not realise you're gonna hurt your back? You're not gonna be able to, you know, you can't do that volume without any sort of downtime or stretching or, you know.
So that's on a physical basis.
Yeah.
But what about an emotional basis? If someone was doing too much or taking too much on in an emotional way, would it be the same presentation of pain?
This is where we're getting into undressing the why. So why can't I do all of these things? And it may be because, say, like spiritually, you know, you're trying to help someone and not allowing them to learn. So you're trying to do too much. So it's kind of, you know, spiritually, and this is what I was saying to this person, you're trying to do too much. And now your back has like gone, bah, and you can no longer move because like your body's almost kind of sort of saying, okay, I'm going to take the name of Dave. Dave is not listening. Give him a back pain. Right, okay, he can't move anymore. Now he'll start listening to himself. And that's why it's important. It's like, you know, if I can feel my kidney as well, not my kidney, sorry, my liver. Yeah, I've never opened a medical book. So, you know, sometimes my kidney's up here, you know what I mean? Like my liver here, and my liver's sort of kind of saying to me, you're being very forceful, Tom. You're being... But sometimes you got to be dad, you know what I mean? And so, but, you know, I'm just saying to my liver, thank you very much. You know,
so when listening to the body, it could present as a physical pain or sensation. Yeah. Emotional, spiritual, how does the body translate those sort of messages?
They tend to be a lot more lighter, almost like, you know, when someone's sort of like gently doing that, and you can feel it, but it's also you can feel it all around, and it seems very sort of like sprinkly.
That's a Tom term, it's in my
Well, actually, I think once you start getting into spirituality, you really do start feeling a lot more your chakras. So you feel your crown chakra. And that's when you're getting a real bit of enlightenment going on, you know. Or you feel your sacrum and you're kind of going, you know, this is a fundamental desire for my life to do. You know, and that's it's on a real personal level. You know, so I tend to feel like that, and it translates into a lighter feeling than heavier feeling, you know.
And sort of acute pain. I mean, I know you've picked on this with me, with my neck. You know, if one overthinks, if one's a Libra, for example, and spending too much time in the head, you know, that's not a physical, but it creates a bit of a bandwidth, creating a bit of a groove, and can then manifest as neck pain.
It's like watching a film, but only with the sound down. You know, would you watch a film with the sound down? You wouldn't. You want to hear what the people are saying. Obviously, you'll see a lot with your eyes, but that's like when you only listen to your mind. You're only looking at it out through one lens. And when you want to listen, and when you want to channel stuff, when you want to work with energy, you've got to listen on all the different levels. But just on a personal sort of thing, for your own health. If you get a sensation within you that kind of goes, you know, I got a jabbing pain there, you know, and I was thinking about my kids, trying to deal with my kids. I'm playing June or Joan or you know, Sally. I'm just trying to think of a lady's name without saying her name. You know. So I'm telling I'm a lady.
Okay.
Right? Okay. I'm telling you a lady.
I get
a jabbing. I get a jabbing there. For males, it's different. We'd get a jabbing there. or jabbing down in the groin area, that's the lymphatics down there. So I'm actually getting a jabbing there. If I'm trying to do too much or worry too much for my kids, I've got to stop that stress somewhere. And my body, maybe, if I was jabbing you in your lymphatics, you'd listen to it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd kind of say, what is that pain? I want to do that. But if you're getting to the stage where you actually got physically something wrong, it's because you haven't been listened to before. Before, you would have only felt it like that. It would have been very gentle.
So what I'm understanding
and then eventually goes down to...
Just a main message here is just taking time, being self-aware. Yeah. When we're running very busy lives and we get that little jab or whatever, because we're being harassed by our kids or whatever, you tend to push it to one side and move on.
You don't even notice it.
And life distracts you.
Yeah, most people will not even notice it.
So a prime thing is becoming more self-aware and taking the time to listen to the body.
Yeah, that's the only way. If you take your time and you actually listen to your body, you are no longer in your mind.
You've had to transfer.
You've had to. You can't do that. You can't have that mental side.
So that's sort of step lesson number one then in energy healing, particularly with oneself.
Yeah.
Is self-awareness and taking the time to listen. And you've said pictures come to mind. Is that something people can tune into?
Well, everyone when I do my workshops, I teach people to learn. That's what I do. And I recognize that some people are very artistic, other people are very technical. Say, like, some people can build a wall really well and some people can draw a wall really well. The person who can build it may not be able to draw for toffee. But, an artist would be. And what you've got to do is you've got to know your strengths so you don't have to concentrate on that. You have to work on your weaknesses. You always have to work on your weaknesses. Your strengths will become natural to you. So if you've got a great inner vision, you don't have to work on that side. But you do maybe have to work on what you feel in your body, what you hear, or what you see in a way as well within the physical world. You have to equate all the things together. And there's no point, and that's what people, once you start listening to your body, you will find yourself using a multitude of different tools to do your intuition about yourself and health and everything like that. And once you do that, all of a sudden you get a complete picture of the situation and not just a one lens picture. And that is the only way to work with energy.
Brilliant. So another episode I'm sure that we'll be doing is, almost like energy hygiene. And part of that will be going through the self-awareness and taking time and checking in with oneself. Would that be a good episode to do?
Yeah. Excellent. Like daily episode, daily tasks.
Within a meditation,
I will also say we've only covered a few things about in your body, of listening to your body and what it means or could mean. The best way to discover is for you to just start listening to your body to start with, opening up that conversation. But when we do future videos, so like if we are doing a video on kidneys, thyroids, spiritual path, we will talk about how it translates into messages through our bodies and so forth. So, over time you will get it.
This is a learning opportunity, isn't it? This is what you're sharing is giving people, empowering people to do this for themselves.
Yeah. So now I don't have to do it and I can go down the beach.
You're just too lazy.
I love doing it.
Excellent.
I love doing it.
Right.
Anyway,
Till the next episode.
Yes, until the next episode.
We look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Ciao for now. Don't forget, life should be fun. So please do enjoy.